Hello and welcome to Front Row Racing. It's time for the Front Row Racing World Championship Round 5 from Spain. Now, we're running a little bit late at the moment, so you're going to have to bear with us a few moments. But your commentary team for this evening is going to be Front Row Racing GP, Front Row Racing JS and myself, Front Row Racing DP. So, Steve, over to you for a few moments.
Sorry, just as I've got a mouthful of a nice bit of Spanish pizza. But anyway, pizza, Spanish? Well, I eat pizza anyway. Yeah, over to me. I'm from Racing GP, also known as the Murray Talker. With us in commentary should be from Racing JS, but I think he's still either sat on a beach somewhere or had too much sangria. But we may hear from him later on. So we are without from Racing JS. We do have down in the pit lane, as you've just heard, from Front Racing DP. He is Mr. Ted Kravsticks, so we'll go to DP shortly. But what I want to do first of all is go through the teams that we've got with us today, and then the previous race results and the Drivers' Championship standings. So the teams and drivers we've got the Fearless Trailblazers Mercedes of Tempfear and Stocky. We've got GG Well Played Ferrari of Jamie James and Overdykink. Team Banter Williams of GT5 King and Mornay 77. Danish Dragons Red Bull with Dan Evs 85 and Mr Hamilton 44. Moving Chicane Racing Force India of Killer Corkin and Joy Finn, but we have been notified by Joy Finn is not going to be able to make the event today. Didn't let us know in enough time to arrange a reserve either, so that's unfortunate for the Moving Chicane Racing. HW Racing Renault is the next team, and they are W Butler 86 and Adam 4600. Then we have the Prancing Rosso, Toro Rosso of Tinahan and F1 Roadrunner. We have the Underdogs McLaren of Bartman 2112 and Hammer Time 44. Lunatic Assassin Racing Haas of K-Slay 1 and Armas Maranello, but Armas Maranello has a reserve in his seat as he is still trying to get his internet connected at his new place he's living, so we do have Coming to Get You in his car for this event. And then we have in the admin pick Rookie Manor as Simo 911. Okay, so DP, over to you, and good evening as well. Over to you then for the race results from Russia.
Yep, hello again everybody. We will send the drivers over to the track very, very soon. I just want to quickly go through the race results from the last round in Russia. Mr Hamilton 44 took pole and the victory, so a fantastic result for him. K-Slay, he gained 14 places to finish in second place. We then had the Prancing Rosso, Toro Rosso Reserve, which I think was Coming to Get You on the day. He finished in third place with Dan Evs in fourth. Overdykink finished fifth with his teammate right behind him in sixth, and then Bartman that came home in seventh. GT5 King in eighth place, F1 Roadrunner in ninth. The FRR admins picked rookie on the day, finished in 10th place, and that was Hindle. And then we had Mornay 77 in 11th place, Killer Corkin in 12th place, W Butler in 13th. Let's see, the Lunatic Assassin Racing Haas reserve driver on that day finished in 14th. I think that was Breaking Clays. And then Duo Finn finished in 15th. And he had to race last week on a pad because his wheel isn't working on F1 at the moment. Hammer Time 9.5 was the first, or the in 16th place, the last of the DNFs, I should say. Joined by Tempfear, Stocky and Adam 4600, who did not finish. So yeah, Hammer Time 9.5, he's actually got a rollover time penalty of 30 seconds and a qualifying ban for Spain for a turn 1 collision in Russia. It was quite a biggie. And then Tempfear and Stocky unfortunately both crashed out of that one, so no points for the Mercedes. But the Drivers' Championship standings are as follows. It's quite an interesting one, really. Miss Hamilton 44 leads the way on 70 points, with K-Slay in second place on 58. 2 points behind him is Stocky, and then we've got Dan Evs 2 points behind him. But then we've got a bit of a jump of 30 points to Overdykink, who's followed by Bartman on 21 points. GT5 King's got 19 points in 7th place, and right behind him is Jamie James in 8th on 16 points. RMS Maranello in 9th place on 15 points, and then F1 Roadrunner in 10th on 12 points. Tempfear down in 11th place with only 10 points on the board at the moment. He'll be hoping to change that today, and I've probably just cursed him. And joining him in 11th place is Hammer Time 9.5. We then got Mornay in 13th on 8 points, Killer Corkin in 14th on 2 points, W Butler in 15th on 1 point, and then we've got Tinahan and Adam 4600 on 0 points. So just the constructors' standings to go through, Steve, if you will. But I think we might also have to send the drivers over to the track now.
Yep, we shall send the drivers over to the track. So the Constructors' Championship standings after round 4 are as follows. On 124 points is the Danish Dragons Red Bull. 73 points in second place is Lunatic Assassin Racing. Then we've got Fearless Trailblazers Mercedes on 66 points. Fourth place we've got GG Well Played Ferrari on 40 points. Then on a point behind them is the Prancing Rosso Toro Rosso. And then we have on 31 points the Underdogs McLaren, and then in 7th place we've got Team Banter Williams on 27 points, and then there's a bit of a drop down to 8th place. We've got the Moving Chicane Racing Force India on 2 points, A2W Racing Renault on 1, and the rookie FRR rookie driver on 1 point according to that.
Yep, just to mention as well, tyres available for the drivers today. There's the softer compounder tyres, which is plenty of soft tyres for qualifying, and then one set of each tyres in the race. That's one soft, one medium, one hard. The medium and the hard being the mandatory. The balance setup gives you one set of the medium tyres in qualifying and one each of the tyres in race. And the harder compound tyre, again, it's one medium available with softs in qualifying, and then one medium and 2 hards in the race. And I think we may see a difference of strategy from a lot of the drivers here, depending on what the weather conditions are like here in Spain, because we know that it does have the potential to rain here in Spain, and if it does, that throws strategy potentially well out of the window, and also the requirement of having to use 2 different compounds of tyres. If you have to use an intermediate or a wet tyre at any point, you don't have to stick with the mandatory tyres, so to speak.
But I can see at the moment that on the screen for qualifying it's nice and bright and sunshiny with 29 degrees track temperature and 20 degrees air temperature, and that's what it's going to be throughout the whole of quali, and in the race it's going to be exactly the same, and I'm pretty sure that's going to be putting a smile on plenty of the drivers' faces.
It definitely will. Well,
yeah.
For a lot of them it will, but there'll be plenty that will have hoped that it would have rained. Couple of things that we did want to mention. Want to just obviously let all the viewers be aware, and also for the drivers when they're watching this back, if they haven't looked at the race directors page, there have been rule updates since last week, so the drivers hopefully will have checked those. There's also something new for this particular race here in Spain, something that the race directors are trialling in this particular track to do with one of the corners and exceeding track limits. We'll get to that in a few moments time, but yeah, quickly cap on, if any of the drivers do have a game crash or disconnect during the qualifying session, when they rejoin it creates a delay to the start of their race. The lights go out a few seconds after everybody else. One of the rule updates on that is that they are allowed to start the race when cars around them go, as long as those cars around them haven't jump started. They will get a jump start penalty and have to do a drive through. They can serve that, but what they will be able to do is appeal that penalty and have the time taken from pit entry limiter to pit exit limiter refunded to them. So they can have a normal-ish start to the race and appeal that penalty later on.
Sorry if I was being a little bit quiet there. I did have my microphone on mute for a very good reason. My wife answered a phone call, and last time I did that on a commentary, yeah, everyone heard the conversation. So I've just pressed mute and asked her to go nicely upstairs, and I got a lovely look from her. So there we go.
I bet it was a lovely look. I'll tell you what I'm looking at is Stocky. He's out on track at the moment on the soft compound tyre. And given the last race in Russia, it was very disastrous for him and his teammate. Stocky's pre-race comments, he said going into this round he feels good. He says, I do like this track because of the technicality that it brings and requires in order to be fast. He'll be going for a balanced setting of tyres this evening, and he feels as though his pace could be good enough for the podium and hopefully the win. But it's tough with strategy and to break the slipstream. Now, we didn't see many overtakes, did we, in the reserve races last week down into turn 1. Something that was a topic of discussion as Stocky does start his flying lap. Um, I mean, the setups for the drivers, it's going to be an interesting one, because if they go for... I don't think they really have to worry about being overtaken into turn one unless someone's got ridiculously low wings on, do they?
Well, that's something that we've been looking at in a few of the practice sessions and in the reserve races. You can run different strategies and different car setups here. Like you say, having high aeros isn't a bad thing to go. And unless someone's running stupidly low wing, then you may have to take them into consideration into turn one. But I don't think that any of the guys in the World Championship are likely to risk going low aeros, especially with it being no assists, which means no help with the traction control, no help with the ABS. So on low wings they would be struggling with the tyre wear. Just looking at Stocky's sector times, not too bad sector 2. His sector 1's maybe a couple of tenths slower than what he would have wanted to do, but let's see what time he sets as he goes across the lines in the pits. Now that surprised, well, I say it surprised me, but maybe he just wants to scrub his tyres in a bit, get a bit of a feel for the track conditions.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, scrubbing the tyres isn't a bad idea if you're going to want to get them up to speed very quickly in the race. Let's see, Mr. Hamilton 44, he's on a lap, but he was slower by a few tenths in sector 1 and in sector 2. He's not far off crossing the line. But also, interestingly, in the World Championship Reserve race last Wednesday, obviously Stocky won that particular race as Hamilton, Mr. Hamilton 44 has just put himself a provisional pole. Stocky won the World Championship Reserve race because we allowed the World Championship drivers to compete in it, and he had a very interesting battle with the admin's pick reserve for this event, Simo. Simo had a great race, finished in second place, was a little frustrated that he couldn't get past Stocky. So Simo's a little bit of a dark horse in this one, that if he's learned or changed his setup or something like that to be able to be a little quicker on the straights, he could definitely be one to watch.
Yeah, I was just point out as well that apart from Mr. Hammer Time 95 is retired from the event now. Either he has got a qualifying ban, so that would be the reason why.
Yeah, he'll have done his qualifying ban Delta lap time and then retired from the session.
I was going to point out that Dan Evans has done a cracking sector 1 with a 22.0, but as he went round turn 9, the back end kicked out and it was just like fishtail after that. It was all over the place, so I don't see him completing this lap for a lap time. He's probably going to bail that one out because his sector 2 time was off the pace. So let's have a look, see who else we've got.
Interestingly enough though, Temp Thea did exactly the same as Stocky, put in a sector 1 time, a sector 2 time, pitted.
Yeah, maybe Mr. Hamilton, after doing his first flying lap, has now pitted on his second lap.
Mornay's put in a purple sector 1 at 22.1 I'm showing on my screen, but when I went on board with him it's showing a 22.8. But yeah, he has got a purple sector 1, but he's into the pits.
I'm wondering if that was on his previous lap. Yes, it would have been. His 22.1 was on his previous lap. He is sat currently in P2, provisional P2. So not a bad lap time there from Mornay. Who else have we got out there? Now then, I was going to say this is a guy to keep an eye on, coming to get you 85, but his sector 1 looks like he's on an in lap. Now he is currently sat in third place, so we'll leave him for the time being. Stocky's back out the pits and he is on a set of medium tyres. Now
K-Slay 1 is on a flying lap at the moment though, on medium tyres as well.
Yep, so the medium tyres, we would expect the second lap to be the faster lap of the two, but his first sector for a set of mediums isn't too bad, a 22.4, but in his second sector that he's in now, going around turn 7, 8 and heading up towards turn 9, we're looking really for low 29s in this sector, but on the mediums I wouldn't be surprised if it's mid 29s. The sector line is coming up and it's high 29s. Maybe with the car ahead of him it's just putting him off slightly, but the second lap, like we said, is likely to be quicker. What can he do in this third sector? This could give us an idea whether he's running high aeros or low aeros, because if this sector is absolutely amazing then there's a good chance he's on high aeros. So Mickey Mouse chicane to go, and I'm pretty sure Disney, or Walt Disney's probably turning his grave every time someone uses that phrase for something, a Mickey Mouse chicane. And it's a 22.1 P1, and I'll tell you what, 29.9 in sector 3 is not bad at all for the mediums. That lap time would be beatable, but K-Slay will be happy with that for his first run out the pits.
as I say, I mean, he may continue on for a second lap. Stocky, he's obviously on a flying lap now as well. Let's see, we've got Barman's come out of the pits, GT5 King's come out of the pits, Adam 4600's come out of the pits. Quite a few drivers still sat in the garage though. But yeah, you might want to have a look at Stocky. I'll keep an eye on Caseley and let you know if
he's already bailed out of his lap. Yeah. So Stocky crosses the line, then heads down in towards turn 1, looking for his braking point. Just about where the 100-metre marker board is. He's on them brakes, turning it in, gets a nice bit of apex there. Turn 2, compromise it a little bit for your entrance into 3, but he's compromised it too much, I think. I think he just caught a bit of the Astro, and that may have just unsettled the car, and he may not have been able to get the power down as he wished. And it's a 22.3, so even though it's faster than Caseley's, you could see that he would have lost a little bit of time on the... I'd say I can't really say the exit of 3, it was kind of like mid-corner. Yeah, he just caught a little bit of the Astro there, but he's into sector 2, the horrible turn 7, 8 up the hill, and turn 9. This is the corner that DP mentioned about the rules. We're trying something a little bit different here this weekend. DRS wide open, and 29.8 sector 2, not too bad. He looks like he's absolutely on it.
Well, it's not a particularly good sector 2 time for him though, to be honest. A 29.8, yeah, okay, it's not bad, but he's a good 2 tenths off purple sector 2 time.
Yeah, what can he do though? Where will it put him? Will it be front row? It is, tell you what, it's P1. And then it's sector 3, 29.6. That I would say that's even higher downforce than what Casey's running.
Interestingly enough, I mean, you may have mentioned it, obviously him and Temfear went out and scrubbed a set of the soft compound tyres. Stocky's just done his lap on the medium compound tyres, maybe ought to go for another flying lap. Temfear's currently sat in the pits though, so 2 of the drivers that I really want to keep an eye on, Temfear and Simo, they're just sitting in the pits waiting at the moment. Jamie James, he's on a flying lap, as is Bartman and GT5 King, so a few lap times are going to start firing in now. Let's see, Mr. Hamilton 44, he's been bumped down to 4th now with Mornay in 5th, and GT5 King's put himself into 6th place with a 123.0. Stocky's session's over. He doesn't think he's going to improve on that, or either that or he's looking after tyres, but that's it for Stocky's qualifying session. So let's see, the target then is a 21.8, and there's a 3.5 tenth gap at the moment from Stocky to Caseley up at the front.
F1 Roadrunner just about to cross the line to finish his lap, currently sat in 3rd place. Can he improve? No, bad sector 3 from him there. He would have been wanting, he looked like he got a good sector 1 and 2, but didn't quite manage to secure it in sector 3. So next person out there, Miss Hamilton on an outlap, GT5 King. He's on his medium compound, 22.6 sector 1. It's a little bit off, but what can he do in the second sector? It's just about to come up a 30.2. It's going to be looking like middle of the grid. Oh, he's gone deep. He's gone off. That is a big mistake from GT5 King. He won't like to see that on the live stream when he watches it back later. Let's find somebody else.
Jamie James, he's just gone and stolen pole position on the soft compound tyre. Done a 121.409. I was going to mention as well that Bartman had just got himself into 2nd place, but he's been bumped down to 3rd. And we've got to remember as well, Jamie James did win in Spain last season in Formula Racing World Championship, and he's just gone and taken pole position on the soft compound tyre, so he's obviously intending on taking another victory if he can. And interestingly enough, when we spoke to him before the event, he said he's bringing the balanced tyres. He hasn't done much practice, so he doesn't know if he's going to be able to really compete, so he said, I'm going for a conservative drive and whatever strategy and setup I can make up. So no, I don't really think a podium is available, but top 5 is the aim. Well, at the moment he's sitting in 1st place.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, with that time that he's set and him being on the soft compounds, if no one else puts it ahead of him, he'll be looking to run away as quickly as possible from the start of the race, and hopefully not be involved at turn 1.
Sorry, Danev's just gone through sector 1 with a 22.2, not quite purple, but he is on the medium compound tyres. That's comparable with Jamie James, who is currently sitting on pole position. So let's see how Dan Evans is going to get on through the rest of his lap. Heading up to turn 9, and the adjustment to the rule that's being tested this week is that the exit there is lenient, but any driver that gets an in-game corner cut penalty for running wide at turn 9 will be able to appeal the penalty if they do an ETL lift. Okay, Dan Evans' sector 2 time, so 29.8. How does that compare to Jamie James? It's 1/10 down. He's going to need to beat a 29.4 in the final sector here to be able to fight for pole position, but being on the medium compound tyre, don't know if he's going to be able to do that. Big sideways just before the final corner, heading to the line now. We'll be able to pop open DRS for a short moment. It's a 29.7. It's 3rd place for Dan Evans. 10th here, he's popped himself into 4th place. It's now 5th place because Coming to Get You has just gone and done a 1:21.483 on the medium compound tyres.
Just want to keep an eye on Dan Evans' sector time here, because I think he's backed out of it already. If he has a cracky, I was just thinking that if he's got the fuel on board, he could have had a really good lap there from having the slipstream from temp down to turn 1, but it looks like he's bailed out of it. He's keeping his tyre life for the race. Temp fears though.
Sorry, Simo, he's just put himself into 2nd place with a 1:21.427. 0.018 of a second between Jamie James and Simo may be able to go for a second lap. He's also medium compound tyres, but Adam 4600, unfortunately for him, he's just left the session. He will be able to get back in, and hopefully he'll be able to do that before the session ends. Sorry Steve, go on.
Temp Fear looked like he was attempting a second flying lap, but he's bailed out of it in the 2nd sector. So Mornay on an out lap. Tinahan is on an out lap. No, he's just started his lap. He's heading down into turn 1. No, is that coming out of the pits? That looks very slow. Looks like an out lap. I'm just a bit confused because it doesn't say out lap, which it normally does do, but it's not on the pace at the moment, so we'll have a little look back at him. We've got Will Butler on screen. We've got 22.5 for sector 1. He's on the soft compounds and he's gone wide at turn 8. That's going to affect his sector 2 time. Currently sat in 14th place. He's going to be pushing like mad though for the last couple of for the last sector to try and do something about it, but his time's well off, but he may be up on what is set previously. Do we have anyone else out on circuit setting a time at the moment, DP?
Simo, he's just gone and put himself pole position with a 1:20.893. Let's see, Jamie James looks like he's gone back out on track. What tyres is he on? I'm going to have a quick look at that. Jamie James is back out on track on another set of soft compound tyres. Mornay, he's on a flying lap at the moment. He's done a 22.3 sector 1. I tell you what, Mornay could be a little bit of a dark horse here. He's sat down in 11th place at the moment, but if you can find some time in the final sector, because he lost over a second there, he could find himself much higher up the order. So Mornay's on a lap. Tinahan, W. Butler, they are both on laps as well. Overdyking, not set a lap time yet. Is he going to be starting from the back of the grid? Well, he's not even out of the garage yet. He may leave it late.
And a good sector 2 from Mornay, 29.7. Not bad at all. So it looks like he's on it. He'll be improving on his 11th position, I imagine. If he doesn't, it means he's going to make a serious error. I don't want to curse him, but he's got a couple of more corners to go as he passes the Mini and the Mickey. That's what I'm going to name them now, Mini and Mickey.
So he's coming up to the finish line then. Can he improve in his final sector? It's a 30.0. It's only 10th place, so he's losing a little bit too much time in that final sector. So Jamie James out there on the set of the soft compound tyre. He's got a good opportunity of taking the fight. I mean, anyone that hasn't already left the pits, their session's over. So Jamie James has got a chance.
Overdyking. Just say Overdyking has left the pits. Jamie James is off. He's into the gravel. He's into the wall. That's his qualifying over, as Overdyking does go past him now. But I tell you what, Overdyking's got a bit of a run from there to get to the line in time. Should be able to do it. Overdyking. Oh, Caseley's left the pits, but he's only got 1 minute to go. That's not going to get round, and I think he's just realised.
Yeah. GT5 King is on a lap, but sectors aren't looking particularly great at the moment. I think that'll be his lap over. So I think it may only really be Mornay and Overdyking that have got half a chance here to try and improve on their positions.
Mornay's lost time in his second sector compared to what he did on his previous lap, but he did lose out in sector 3 on his previous lap. So can he improve on his 10th position? It all depends on how he does with his last couple of corners. Dan Evans has retired from the session. He is done. Head towards the line then for Mornay, foot firmly to the floor. I think he may have improved his time, but he's not improved his position. 22.2 for Mornay.
Overdyking has started his flying lap. I don't think he'll get to the end of sector 1 before I can see a sector time, because obviously we've got 5 seconds and then we're going to get kicked out of the pit lane here. So heading up to sector 1, 22.2. That's not too shabby. Couple of tenths off Simo at the moment. We won't get to see what his sector times are for the rest of the lap, but obviously we'll see if he jumps from 18th to where. Now, something that somebody has asked on the YouTube chat is about how to join and what are reserve races. Well, this is the Formula Racing World Championship no assist allowed race, so Overdyking here is racing with no assist, and tomorrow will be the World Series, the assist allowed race. These guys, they race every 2 weeks, and in the opposite week is the World Championship Reserves and the World Series Reserves, and that's where guys can show us what they can do, and these drivers that are racing in the World Championship and the World Series can call on any one of those drivers to take their seat if they're unavailable to race, as a couple have done so today. So Overdyking then coming into the final sector, only a couple of corners to go, and missing the apex a little bit there. Tricky little corners those, but now on the power, coming around the final corner. Where's he going to position his car? Currently sitting in 18th, and he's going to move to 13th. It's going to give him a free set of, well, not free set of tyres, but a free choice of tyres for the start of the race. But yeah, I think he may have, well, it's one of those. If you're in the top 10, you want to be in the top half of the top 10. If you're out of the top 10, you want to be 11th and have the free the free choice of tyre. But there we go. Okay, in a moment, Steve, you're going to have to leave the lobby to come back in to catch the start of the race. I'll go through the grid order as quickly as I can. As far as we know, Simo is still sitting at top of the pile, and Simo is one of the World Championship Reserve drivers. So Simo showing exactly what he's capable of here in Spain. And this is why the reserve races are hosted the week before. So last Wednesday was the World Championship Reserve race. That allows all of the World Championship drivers to see how the reserve drivers get on, so they know who they want to pick if they need somebody. And I tell you what, it looks like RMS Maranello may have chosen wisely, picking Simo to take his seat for this race.
You may be right there, especially if you watch the reserve race. Just quickly on the question on YouTube, how do you join Formula Racing? You've explained extremely well how the league standings are. Yeah, but how did you join? Facebook?
I have told him that as well.
All right.
Yeah,
okay.
Find us on Facebook, Formula Racing on Facebook. Send us a message. We'll give you all the information that you require. We'll ask you for some information as well, and we'll get you set up for the next World Championship Reserves race or the next World Series Reserves race, depending on whether you want to race without assist or with assist. Okay, so qualifying complete then. We'll have a quick look at the qualifying order. Steve, don't forget as well, leave before you get to 7 seconds.
I'm actually I'm gonna leave before it goes red. Then I know I've definitely done it in time.
Yeah. If anyone wants to know what we're on about there, don't worry about it. We're testing something. And if something goes completely wrong, it's got nothing to do with that. But here we go then. The qualifying order. Simo takes pole position on a set of medium compound tyres with a 120.8. Jamie James in second place, the only driver in the top 12 on the soft compound. Coming to get you in third place, he's also a reserve driver. So actually, Simo's the admin's pick reserve. It's coming to get you. That's the Haas. That's the RMS's team reserve. So RMS should have picked Simo. Mr. Hamilton 44, championship leader at the moment, in fourth place. Stocky fifth. Danev sixth. 10th Fierce seventh. Bartman in 8th, Caseley 9th, Mornay 10th, F1 Roadrunner in 11th, GT5 King in 12th, Overdyking 13th, Tinahan 14th, W Butler 15th, Killer Corkin 16th, Adam 4600 17th, and Hammer Time 9.5 in 18th. Unfortunately, Joy Finn unable to race today and not enough time to call in a reserve. But an interesting use of the tyres there. For the qualifying session. I mean, Jamie James, is he not just the top 12? Yeah, top 12 is the only driver in the top 12 on the soft compound tyres. That's potentially going to make for an interesting start to the race. So about to get ready then for the Formula Racing World Championship Round 5 on F1 2016 from Spain, where the weather looks sunny. Our third co-commentator, he's passed out somewhere on a beach. And yes, I did say beach. um, we really should give him a load more grief than we are doing, but we know that there's a few personal issues at the moment. I'm going to have a quick look at what it's suggesting for strategy. Strategy for me here, it's suggesting a medium compound tyre and then a one stop for the hard, or start on the soft compound tyre and then do 2 medium stints. But we have seen that both the one stop and 2 stop strategies can work around this circuit, can't they? I mean, we expected extremely high tyre wear, but to be honest, in the reserve races they were capable of doing one stops.
Yeah, it does depend on the setup. What I have found when I was practicing with one of the guys that might be my future teammate, his setup just didn't suit the tyres, or the tyres didn't suit his setup, and he was burning through them, and he would have been having to do a 3 stop. And when I said one stops are possible, you know, he was gobsmacked.
Yeah, formation lap has begun, by the way.
Okay, great stuff. So yeah, it does make a big difference the setup of your car. Just click. Yep. Okay, I'm on my way back in. But yeah, strategies. If I tell you, if somebody is on the soft tyres towards the end of the race, they are going to be so much quicker than some of the guys that are on the one stop, that are trying to make their tyres last. But in theory, the one stop should be the way to go. But who knows? Just point out something very quickly, DP. If you've got the race director screen up with the tyres that are on the screen, they may not be correct for the guys that are behind 10th place, because it shows you what tyres they have selected as they went to the grid. If they've changed what tyres they're going to start with, it doesn't show you what tyres they have changed to, if that makes sense.
Well, I'll let you know who it's showing is on what. Whether it's right or wrong, we'll find out. F1 Roadrunner in 11th place, he's showing as being on the medium compound tyre. GT5 King right behind him, medium compound tyre. Overdyking, he's playing the long game, he's started on the hard compound tyre. Tinahan behind him, he's on the mediums, and then W Butler, he's gone for the hard compound as well. Killer Corkin, he's gone medium. Adam 4600, he's gone medium, and Hammer Time 95 has gone for the hard compound tyre. So from what I'm seeing, we've got 3 drivers on the hard compound tyres and only 1 driver on the soft compound tyre, and that's Jamie James. And to be honest, for Jamie James to really get the most of his compound of tyre, he could do with getting ahead of Simo down into turn 1 and opening up a gap if he can. He'll have already potentially seen that Simo struggled to get past Stocky in a reserve race the other day, so he could do with getting ahead of him and getting the most out of the tyres. But we're lining up on the grid now, Steve, so over to you for the start of the race.
Thank you very much. So this is Front Row Racing World Championship, and we are at Spain. We're waiting for those lights to come on. We've got 3, 4, 5 lights on. The drivers are ready. The lights go out. Away go the cars, with smoke pouring from the tyres as they scream away off the line. Are we away clean? We've got a bit of Toro Rosso nudging a Renault, but up at the front, the Manor looks like he's going to have clear run. That's Stocky. No, it's not. It's Simo. I do apologise. With Jamie James right up behind him. And, we've got a horse off into the wall. There's a horse that must be coming to get you. He was the one up near the front. So that we've now got Stocky running away a little bit there in first place with Jamie James and a Red Bull. That could be either Dan Evs or Mr. Hamilton. Has gone off at turn 3. No idea who that is, but they have gone way off the circuit, and I can tell you now it's Dan Evs, because Mr. Hamilton is still sat in 4th position, so Dan Evs will not be happy.
Dan Evs, he's down in last place, and it was coming to get you that was involved earlier on as well. I think there may have been another collision as well. Yes, Killer Corkin, unfortunately something has happened to him. So up at the front though, Simo leading the way. Jamie James running in 2nd place, and Simo's opened up quite a gap to him already. Stocky right behind Jamie James, sitting in 3rd place. At least he'll be glad to have got more than halfway around the first lap of the race here, compared to how his race went in Russia. And Temp Fear running in 5th place, I believe. 5th place, right behind Mr. Hamilton 44. So we've got a race on at the moment between the guys we really wanted to see it, and that's sort of Jamie James, Stocky, Mr. Hamilton 44, Temp Fear, Casely, all in the top 6. So yeah, come on guys, let's show us what you got. I tell you what, it looks like Stocky could be close to having a go at Jamie James, is he? Yes, he is. He's ahead into turn 1. He's made the move already. Jammy James has got the quicker compound tyre, but Stocky's made the move. But Jammy James is trying to fight back on him already around turn 3, but he's going to have to be careful of Mr. Hamilton 44. Oh, there's a bit of lag, it looked like, from my view, on Jammy James's car. And Mr. Hamilton 44 just had to take avoiding action to try and make sure that he didn't hit the back of him. But that was a much-needed move by Stocky.
There's been that lag repeated itself, and I can tell you that Mr. Hamilton did end up hitting the back of Jammy James. I'm just wondering whether that would have caused any damage to the front wing of Mr. Hamilton's car. Something he would not like to have at all, especially around here.
I will try and have a close look at it. It doesn't look like there's any damage on it, but we know the little bits can get...
Ferrari off!
K-Slade's going for the move.
Sorry, yeah.
We'll look at the Ferrari in a moment. K-Slade, who's managed to get past Temp Fear and got himself up to 5th place. DRS isn't available yet, but he made the move without it. That Ferrari that had the off there, that's going to have been over Diking. I'll go and have a look. He's facing the right direction again, sitting in 11th place. Let's see, it doesn't look like he's got any damage on the front wing of his car, but he has obviously got the hard compound tyre, as has W. Butler ahead of him. Overdiking's got a bit of a run on him, but W. Butler's turned in on him. That's going to cost Overdiking 2 positions. GT5 King sneaks past, and Hammer Time started at the back of the grid. He's now up to 12th place.
And Jammy James at the moment is causing serious problems for Mr. Hamilton. Mr. Hamilton needs to get past, because every time he gets anywhere near, he just seems to end up driving into the back of Jammy James.
For it now. We're side by side. Mr. Hamilton is ahead into turn 4. I think the frustrating thing for me, if I was Jammy James at this moment, is supposedly on the quicker tyre, and he's getting overtaken. I'm just looking in the background as well. I think, let's see, F1 Roadrunner, he's managed to get ahead of Bartman. So Bartman and Roadrunner having a little bit of a battle. And Roadrunner, he's someone that in pre-race comments, he was saying he needs a good result here. I'm going to quickly check exactly what it was that he said, because I know he was quite frustrated after Russia. So let's see, I'll quickly get to it. If you see anything,
he's under pressure. He's being overtaken, and I think that was Mornay that's just made a lovely move in towards turn 10.
It was Bartman that's made the move on him. Mornay is the car behind. So F1 Roadrunner, he said he thinks a top 6 is possible if he survives the first 3 corners. Well, he's done that. He's almost survived the first 3 laps. He said he's going to aggressive on tyre strategy, running softer compounds, aiming to beat the Ferrari drivers.
Well, he's ahead of one of them.
He's got, though, is Bartman is, well, yeah, he is, but Bartman's got ahead of him, and he's pulling away. Although F1 Roadrunner has got DRS, but need to have another look up at the front, because with DRS now being available, Simo's running away a little bit. It's Stocky's turn to hunt him down. Jammy James still running in 3rd place. Temp Fear has managed to get back ahead of K-Slade. So Temp Fear now in 5th place. I think that may have been a DRS overtake down into turn 1. So Temp Fear and K-Slade fighting it out. So yeah, keep an eye on the battles up at the front. I was going to have a quick look at the race director to see what we may have at the start of the race. Oh, I tell you what, I could have sworn that I saw Adam 4600 do an absolutely enormous jump start, but there's nothing on the race director for it. Killer Corkin, though, he's been given a drive-through penalty for speeding in the pit lane. I'm guessing he pitted for repairs.
Did I see at the bottom of the screen at one point Killer Corkin had left the session? I'm wondering if that was just through pure frustration of getting the drive-through penalty.
You could be right there. I think he may have left because his car is still
I'm putting in.
Ghosted.
K-Slade's just rear-ended Temp Fear, and his lost time is now under pressure from the car behind, which is Bartman.
And F1 Roadrunner K-Slade. Oh, it's sideways, nearly loses the car. That's going to allow F1 Roadrunner and Mornay through as well, is it? Yes, it is. So K-Slade just lost out 3 positions there. Ooh, tricky one for him. He's going to try and fight back straight away, but I don't know if he's going to be able to. I tell you what, we've got quite a gap behind K-Slade to GT5 King. I'm going to have a look at GT5 King because he's got Hammer Time 9.5 right behind him, and Hammer Time is kind of stuck on the hard compound tyre behind GT5 King, who's on the mediums. And then we've got Tinahan catching up to Hammer Time on medium compound tyres, so Hammer Time's not doing too bad at the moment. If he could get past GT5 King, I think he may be able to close the gap in a little bit on that leading sort of pack of cars. Overdyking coming out of the pits. He's obviously started on the hard compound tyre. I'm not sure if there was damage for him or not, but he is back out on track on a medium compound tyre, so he'll be looking to take them as long as he can, I would guess. Also has now got clear track, but he is right at the back of the grid.
Yeah, Hammer Time has been able to keep up with the car ahead of him, which is GT5 King, and Tinahan has been closing up to the back of him, so that those three are going to be very close together very soon. But it's quite surprising how well at the moment the hard tyres are doing, because normally they're 2 or 3 seconds off the pace at the first few laps.
Sorry, Temfear is within range to attack Jamie James. Mr. Hamilton 44 may have a bit of lag of his own as well, but here goes Temfear then. DRS wide open, medium compounds over soft compounds, gets ahead into turn 1. So we didn't see much overtaking in the reserve races around here into turn 1, but give the WC drivers half a chance and they're going to go for it. So Temfear up to 4th place now. Can he catch back up to Mr. Hamilton, who is ahead of him? But he's also got to be careful of Jamie James, who is still there right up his gearbox. The question, something to think about, Steve, for Jamie James is, when is he going to pit? Well, it's got to be within the next couple of laps, hasn't it?
It has. I was actually expecting him, if he was going to make a strategy really strong and work, he'd have been wanting not only to use the soft tyre but have a nice strong undercut. Those tyres will be going off from lap 4. Lap 5 you can cope with. Lap 6 is not too bad, but if he goes for another lap after this, I wouldn't be surprised if we see punctures. So yeah, really he needs to be entering the pits this lap. Okay. But will he do that? Because he's coming into the... With him being so close to the rear of Temfear, though, he might be happy just to stick on the tyres and stick with Temfear, but I think it may end up affecting him for the rest of the race if he doesn't pit.
Well, in my thinking, with him being as close as he is right now, he may be able to attack Temfear back, but Temfear's opened up the gap a little bit through the corners. But yeah, I mean, Jamie James may have a good run. And I tell you what, I think Bartman's just had a messy final corner as well. Jamie James then, DRS wide open, gaining, having a look, but hasn't quite got the speed, has he? No, he hasn't. He's going to have another lap behind Temfear. But as you said, he may be quite happy following him around for a few more laps now. I was going to have another look back at GT5 King. He's still ahead of Hammer Time 9.5, so those two holding station at the moment. Tinahan, got to say, he's doing fantastically well in 12th place at the moment on medium tyres. Dan Evs, he's trying to recover. He's in 13th place. He'll have been frustrated with whatever happened to him on the opening lap that cost him a ton of time. There we go.
What tyres did Dan Evs... Did Dan Evs pit, or did he just come back onto the circuit and continue?
I will have a look at Dan Evs. Let's see.
Jamie James, DRS wide open, looking for a move on Temfear. He's not quite got the grip on the brakes, though, to make that move stick. Those tyres must be screaming at him at the moment to say, get rid of me, take me off the car, I don't want to drive anymore. Because they are going to be awful on lap 7, but how he's doing it, I mean, to be honest with you, he's driving the car unbelievably well with the tyres that have qualified on and taken to this lap 7, and he's going for another lap.
Sorry, just behind him, F1 Roadrunner is not too far away from Bartman, but here comes Mornay, and Mornay was quick in qualifying in the straights, so Mornay may have half a chance. Can F1 Roadrunner do anything on Bartman? He's got to have a look. He's close enough, is he? No. He's just holding station and playing the patient game. Jamie James, he's still holding position as well. And K-Slay, he said K-Slay has actually dropped off the back of this little gaggle of cars. I'm wondering if K-Slay's got a little bit of damage on the front of his car. I'm going to have a look. Let's see, I can't see anything, but he may be missing a few winglets. He is locking up quite a lot. But yeah, Mornay's looking like he's ready to get... he's going to become very feisty. He's Danish, he knows how to drive. He's got a Finn ahead of him. Do Danes and Finns get on very well? We're about to find out, because he is all over the back of F1 Roadrunner. And F1 Roadrunner knows it, because he's trying to pressure Bartman. DRS open for Roadrunner and Mornay. Mornay's having a look. He knows he wants to go for it. Can't though. F1 Roadrunner catches the back of Bartman. That's going to give Mornay half a chance. He's side by side with Roadrunner. Up the inside for the next corner. Roadrunner now runs a little bit wide. Not sure if that was a little bit of contact there, but he's lost at least one position. He's under pressure from K-Slay now as well. Okay, Jamie James, are you going for the pits, my friend? Are you going for the pits?
No,
he's not. He's continuing on, so he's feeling quite happy. But let's not forget, I mean, in last year's World Championship race here in Spain, James did go long on his tyres in that race, so it wouldn't surprise me if he chooses to do exactly that here again.
but look how much time he's lost at the moment on that last lap to Tempfear. He was putting pressure on Tempfear. Now that gap has opened up, and that gap is just going to get larger on this next lap as well.
Okay, info for you. F1 Roadrunner into the pits, got rid of his medium compound tyres. He is now out on a set of soft compound tyres. I'm not sure if that's the wisest of things. Okay, and it's just showing me a big glitch as well, because he'd already left the pits and now he's coming out of the pits again. Dan Evs, I think, may have jumped him in the pit lane. He has, unless he's going to get glitched. So we've got, coming to get here in 13th place, Dan Evs has just pitted, put on the soft compound tyre. He's hunting him down. And F1 Roadrunner right behind Dan Evs on the soft compound tyre as well. Over Dyking, he pitted earlier on. He's in 16th place on the medium compound tyre. About a 5-6 second gap between 16th and 15th. W Butler, he's now at the back of the field, 17th place on the medium compound tyres.
GT5 King at the moment under pressure from Hammer Time 95, so this is for 9th and 10th position. Hammer Time on the hard compound tyres, GT5 King on the medium compound tyres, and lap 9 those mediums will be quite nice at the moment. There shouldn't be too much of a problem there, so this is great driving from Hammer Time to be able to keep up with the mediums, with him driving on the hards I should say. So DRS will be open as they head down the main straight towards that turn 1. He's in the slipstream, he's got his DRS open, he'll have his engine turned up to the max. Is he going to pull out and make a late brake move into turn 1? No, he cannot do it. It is just not possible for him on this lap. So is this again, DP, something about Mickey and Minnie that doesn't help with overtaking down into turn 1? But it looks like he's going to go for it into turn 4. No, he's not gone for it into turn 4.
So who were you watching? I was checking something on YouTube.
Hammer Time 95.
Okay, yeah, he's stuck behind GT5 King still, isn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, his car's looking very stable throughout the corners, but yeah, the Mickey Mouse chicane, the final corners, it makes it so difficult to be able to stay close enough to a car to get a good run down into turn 1. And being on the harder compound, or the hardest compound of tyre, yeah, it's going to be really, really difficult for Hammer Time to get past. I was just having a look at something as well. Bartman was coming under a little pressure from Mornay. But I just want to have a quick run through the leading cars, if you don't mind, Steve. You can show that on the screen. Because Simo, he is leading the race. He's got a nice, healthy little gap. He will be very comfortable with this. He's broke DRS early on. He'll be looking after his tyres now, I reckon. In second place, we've got Stocky, 3.6 seconds off the leader. Undercuts could come into play for Stocky if he plays it right. In third place, we've got Mr. Hamilton, 44, just outside a second behind Stocky. In fourth place, we've got Tempfear, 10 seconds off the lead of the race, or 9.8 seconds off the lead. I don't think he'll really care about that at the moment. He'll just want to get to the end if he can. In fifth place, we've got Bartman. He's 15 seconds off the lead, and he's got Mornay really attacking him now. Mornay, it's nice to see Mornay being aggressive and feisty and racy. Last season had a very difficult season. He's even having a look in towards turn 7 and 8. But yeah, Bartman and Mornay then 15 seconds off the lead in 5th and 6th. K-Slay, if you want to keep the camera on that battle, I'll go through the rest of the top 10.
Okay, yeah.
K-Slay is in 7th, 18.5 seconds off the lead. And then we've got GT5 King now in 8th, 25 seconds off the lead, with Hammer Time still stuck behind him. That will be frustrating, Hammer Time. So we've had a few guys have made pit stops. I will check that as well and let you know exactly who has made pit stops. Okay, everybody in the top 10 at this moment in time has not made a stop. Jamie James has, he's on the mediums. Dan Evs has, he's on the softs. Coming to get you has, he's on the hard tyres apparently. My apologies if I said he was on soft. He's on the hard tyres now. F1 Roadrunner has. Overdyking W Butler has as well.
So just to clarify, you say Dan Evs is on the hard tyre?
No, Dan Evs is on the soft compound tyre. Coming to get you is on the hard compound tyre.
Okay, so I just saw... oh, Mornay had a big wobble coming out of turn 3. But he's okay. He's still close enough to the back of the car ahead of him, which is Bartman. Yes, Danevs, I thought you said he was on the hard tyres. I saw it come up saying he'd set the fastest lap, and I'm like, whoa, he's done that on hard tyres? But no, soft tyres, okay, that'll be why he set the fastest lap then. But yeah, good so far from Danevs then on the soft tyres, but he's got to do something maybe a bit different to the others with having that incident in the opening lap.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just having a quick look at Jamie James. Obviously, he's made his pit stop. He's on the medium compound tyres. He's recently got ahead of Tinahan, so he now needs to pump in the fastest laps that he's able to do. 32 seconds off the lead, and what we're looking at for a pit stop round here, perhaps about 20 seconds, 18 to 20 seconds. And Jamie James has got a little bit of clean air, and the car ahead of him is 5 seconds ahead, and that's hammer time 9.5. So Jamie James could do with catching up to them as quickly as possible. And the advantage for Jamie James is that hammer time 9.5 is being held up by GT5 King.
Yeah, the thing that with Jamie James, I'm just trying to work out what strategy he was running there, because obviously he was different to everyone else. He started on the soft compound and pitted on lap either 10 or 11, I don't remember which, but surely he's going to have to do another pit stop because he can't take the mediums for near enough 21, 22 laps. Will Butler is out of the race. Don't know if that is
I tell you who has pitted, sorry, Temp Fear, he's pitted, he's coming out of the pits now. Jamie James is closing in on him into turn 1. Temp Fear is on the hard compound tyre. Jamie James is now on the medium compound tyre. Temp Fear timed that quite nicely to get himself back out on track ahead of Jamie James, because if he'd have waited another lap, he'd have been undercut there for sure. But that's now put Mornay up to 4th place, but obviously hasn't stopped yet. Sorry to cut you off there. But Temp Fear, I reckon hard compound tyre, he'll go to the end on those, won't he?
He will, and this is where Jamie James really needed. If he'd have pitted 2 or 3 laps earlier, he'd have got a massive undercut. He would have got a big enough undercut and still would have been able to do a 2-stop race, even if it had gone medium and hards for the last 2 runs.
Race leader, Simo into the pits. Stocky follows him into the pits. Mr. Hamilton 44 is going to take over the lead of this race. But yeah, Simo into the pits. He's got to be going for a set of hard compound tyres, hasn't he? They'll easily get to the end from here. Stocky, I think, is already on the move, is he? Yes, he is, but there's nothing he can do. Simo is going to come out of the pits ahead of him. Simo is going to be just behind Mornay. And there's Casely, I believe. It could be Casely. We'll check that in a moment. It is. But Casely, I don't think, has pitted yet. So Simo comes out in a net 3rd place. Temp Fear, sorry, not Temp Fear, Stocky, he's come out in 5th place at the moment with Hammer Time 9.5 behind him. So GT5 King, he's made his pit stop. So Hammer Time 9.5 will be very happy now, apart from the fact that cars have just come out of the pits ahead of him. Oh, I tell you what, Jamie James, he's ever so close to Temp Fear. James is on the softer compound tyre again, but he's on the medium compound tyre. But he's quicker than Temp Fear. Really is in a situation again where he could do with getting past and trying to pull away. I'll get there in the end. Yeah, get past, pull away. Because Temp Fear, he's not going to be stopping again.
No, Temp Fear is going to be going to the end. He's going to be conserving his tyre wear, and Jamie James needs to not just get past and pull away, he needs to get past and try and find somewhere a 20-second gap for the extra pit stop, maybe a 10 seconds ahead now, and then try and catch up another 10 seconds on his next stint. But that's going to be tough going. But even still, I think Jamie James is still going to be in for a strong race as long as he can get past Temp Fear. Still in for a good race.
Yeah, potentially. I've just seen Dan Ebbs make a move on Tinahan. Dan Ebbs has got himself up into 9th place. His next target is Jamie James, but Dan Ebbs is on a set of tyres that is not going to get him to the end of this race.
That is right, but with him being on those soft compound tyres, that is going to be a big help to overtake some of the cars that are now running around.
Have a look at Mornay, because he's coming out of the pits side by side with Dan Ebbs. Dan Ebbs just manages to get ahead of him. So Mornay's come out of the pits on the hard compound tyres. He's slotted in between Dan Ebbs and Tinahan. That was ever so close down into turn 1. But a nice stop for Mornay there, because he's come out behind a guy that's pretty quick at the moment. So Mornay can kind of follow him, and Dan will get out of the way when he pits later on. So I think the only person that hasn't really made stops yet is Mr. Hamilton 44. I'm going to have a quick look at him now, because he's not far away from the pit entry, to see if he is going to head into the pits. And yes, he does. He's making his pit stop now. So that's going to give Simo the lead of this race again. K-Slay has made a pit stop. He's gone to the soft compound tyre. I don't think he's going to get those to the end. I'll check when it was that he pitted, because I think he'll be having another stop to make.
Yeah, I think he must have pitted recently, because a moment ago you were saying that he wasn't pitting in, and he just got quite close to the front. So it was quite recent. But Simo now is going past the pits and retakes the lead from Mr. Hamilton 44. And I tell you what, Stocky heads down into turn 1 and 2, and he is ahead of Mr. Hamilton 44. So Mr. Hamilton is on the hard compound tyres. The car behind him is Hammer Time 95, who has not pitted yet. He started on the hard compound tyres and running in 4th place. How far into the race will he take these? Well, does he want to run the mediums, or does he want to run the softs at the end? That's what he's going to have to bear in mind. But I tell you what, if he is able to run these to about lap 23, 24,
yeah,
then
he can go soft compound.
Yeah, and he would be amazingly quick at the end. But what's he doing with his tyre deg now? Is he able to preserve it? But it looks like the cars behind him are getting a bit close together. That's Jammy James and Temp Fear. And I say Jammy James, we've missed it, but Jammy James is ahead of Temp Fear. We said he needed to get ahead. We said he needs to run away. What kind of gap can he open up with? So we missed the overtake, unfortunately, but he's done what he needed to do. And something I just want to mention, DP, we haven't said anything about question of the day today.
No, we haven't. It's been absolutely frantic, hasn't it, qualifying and the race here. Okay, you do question of the day. I can't to do it for you.
I haven't got it wrote down. I haven't wrote it down, sorry.
Okay, I'm just going to have before I get on to that, let's see. Dan Evs, I tell you what, Dan Evs is not far away from Temp Fear, you know. Dan Evs is going to find himself in that fight fairly damn quickly, but obviously he's got another pit stop to do, as I think has Jammy James. So, yeah, I think Jammy James and Dan Evs could find themselves close together on track a little later on. See if we've got any... Oh, I'll tell you what, Bartman side by side with Coming to Get You. Both of them on the hard compound tyres, and Coming to Get You manages to get through in turn 2. A lovely little move by him there. K-Slay not too far behind them. GT5 King, after his stop, he has come out ahead of Overdyking. So yeah, looking quite settled there at the moment. So I think the main battles on track are just behind Hammer Time 95, because you've got Hammer Time 95 followed by Jammy James, Temp Fear, and then Dan Evs, and that's where it's going to start getting really interesting, unless Coming to Get You and Bartman start firing at each other again. Okay, question of the day. So anyone that's watching that feels like they want to have a go at answering this question, it's not the most difficult, but here we go. This one is sort of come from you really, Steve, hasn't it? But you're not writing it down. And it's as simple as this. What's the name of the driver with the shortest ever Formula One racing career? So it's as simple as that. If you think you know the answer, pop your answer in YouTube, or in the YouTube comments, or at least just have a guess. And if you get it right, we'll let you know at the end of the show during the podium interviews when we give out the answer to that question. Okay, I'm just looking at that Temp Fear Jammy James battle, and Temp Fear is not letting Jammy James run away and open that gap up. I think with Temp Fear being behind him, having using DRS and having a bit of slipstream, it's just helping his lap times, you know, and Jammy James is not able to open up a gap. I wouldn't be surprised if Temp Fear actually comes back to make an overtake at into one of the down the DRS straight. It could happen. Go on. No, you. I was going to say one of the problems that Jammy James has got, obviously, is the closer that Temp Fear stays to him, the more difficult it makes Jammy James's pit stop. Because when he pits, he's going to be 18 seconds behind. However, if he pits and he's able to go back, to the soft compound tyre, he could be potentially a second lap quicker. The problem is he may not have enough laps to pull in that 18 to 20 second gap that he's going to lose. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult. Yeah, but we shall see what happens with Temp Fear. Is as close as I've ever seen him to the back of Jammy James's car, apart from when he's hit it in the past. But yeah, DRS open. He moves to the right. He's looking like he's going for the overtake. Can he secure it on the brakes? Yeah, I'll tell you what, that is brilliant braking there from Temp Fear. But Jammy James looks like he's going to try and
come back up the inside on the exit of turn 4, but he hasn't got the grip, he hasn't got the speed. Yeah, well, all I can say there is a great move from Temp Fear. Unfortunate for Jamie James. But it's been a while since we've seen Temp Fear battling and making some overtakes, and that was one of the better ones, I can tell you. But Jamie James, could he? Do you think Jamie James will come back for another overtake? He's got to, I suppose, hasn't he?
Well, he hasn't got to, but he'll probably want to. I'll tell you what, I mean, Hammer Time, 9.5, you know, he's running in 4th place at the moment. He's not that far ahead of Temp Fear and Jamie James, so I think when Hammer Time makes his pit stop, Jamie James makes his pit stop, and Dan Evans we could have a 3-way battle there. That's going to free up Temp Fear and also free up Mornay. So I think in a few laps' time we're going to have Temp Fear sitting in 4th place and Mornay sitting in 5th place, which would be absolutely phenomenal for Mornay, really. But Mornay's got to be careful because he's got Coming to Get You beginning to hunt him down in 8th place. So, yeah, or Jamie James, he's got to run on Temp Fear, going up the inside, in towards turn 1, taking a very tight entry. Is he? No, he's managed to get back across the track and he's clearly ahead. So a nice little bit of switching. Well, Temp Fear's got a good run on him on the exit of turn 2, though. He's going to be able to have a look in the inside of 4. No, he got a little too much on the apex. Is James going to defend it? No, Temp Fear has a look but sees it's not on. So Jamie James and Temp Fear switch positions once again. We've now got 13 laps and this one left to go. So second round of pit stops will be coming fairly soon, I think.
Yeah, and something I noticed a moment ago was how close 2nd and 3rd place were together. Mr. Hamilton 44 catching up to the back of Stocky, and I don't think it's going to be long before he's going to be thinking about an overtake on Stocky, as Temp Fear is super close to the back of Jamie James in this DRS.
I think Temp Fear is going to be going for the move, is he? Is he going to have a look at the inside? Yes, he is. Going to go late on the brakes into the hairpin. Jamie James gives him just enough room. Temp Fear does just about the same, and another switch of positions. Who says you can't overtake in Spain? It's easy, look. All you need is 2 guys on completely different compounds of tyres with DRS available as well. Well, Jamie James ran a little bit wide there. That's going to compromise him for an attack potentially down into turn 1, is it? Maybe not. Mornay, 77's left the race. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. I'll have a look in a moment to see if that was terminal damage, DNF, or whether it's a disconnection. Disaster for Mornay. I've obviously commentators cursed him. Here comes Jamie James up into turn 1. Can he go for it? No, he can't. He has to back out and wait. I'll let you keep on having a look at that. I'm going to find out if I can what happened to Mornay.
Yeah, Jamie James then not able to make the overtake stick that particular lap. Just thinking of Jamie James's strategy from here on. What is he going to do? Well, he could pit this lap or the next lap for another set of mediums and take them to the end, but if he really wants to go for it, can he eat these tyres out for 2, maybe 3 more laps and then shoot for the end on a set of soft compound tyres?
Well, I'll tell you what, Steve, you were saying about Mr. Hamilton 44 getting close to Stocky. He's not close, he's all over the back of him. That may be one to keep your cameras on, and I'll have a look elsewhere. I've not got any notification yet of Mornay crashing out of the race, but he may have had an internet crash, and that's why he's no longer in this race. Mr. Hamilton 44 is a big sideways moment. He was close enough to attack, but with that big sideways, I think that may have cost him. So yeah, you keep an eye on that. I'll let you know if anything's kicking off elsewhere.
Yep, so we've got Mr. Hamilton 44 in the slipstream and DRS open of Stocky, not able to make an overtake this particular lap, but he looks like he's got the pace on Stocky, which is surprising for saying how quick Stocky was in the... Always thought Mr. Hamilton was going to go for an overtake there, but I think it was just different approach, different lines that the drivers take into turn 3 there, and Mr. Hamilton looking extremely quick at the moment. And Stocky, all he can do is look in his mirrors. He doesn't know which mirror to look in, because Mr. Hamilton at the moment looks like he's in both of them. And nicely done there from one of the back markers. It's either Will or Adam, but thank you very much for moving with the blue flags. Nicely done.
Okay, info for you. Hammer Time 9.5, he has made his pit stop. He is now on the medium compound tyre. He is on track in 8th place behind his teammate. His teammate's on the hard compound tyre. So I think if Hammer Time catches Bartman, I think Bartman might do the sensible thing and let him go. For Mornay, it wasn't a terminal damage DNF. I believe it was a disconnection. I did see a notice saying that he'd rejoin the session. There is a rule that says that if you do have a disconnection, your race is over. You can rejoin to retire your car, but yeah, your race is effectively over. I tell you what though, I think we've got Dan Evs. Is it Dan Evs having a battle? No, my apologies. I could see somebody in the background having a battle. It's GT5 King, and he's now got F1 Roadrunner stuck behind him as GT5 King on the hard compound tyre. F1 Roadrunner, I believe, on the medium compound tyre. Yes, he is, but GT5 King's just a little too quick in the straights for F1 Roadrunner to attack.
Yeah, I just want to point out as well, Mr. Hamilton 44 was closing up to the back of Stocky, but there was a bit of contact between the two of them as they entered into the Mickey and the Minnie Mouse corners. I'm not sure whether it was a bit of lag or whether it was just a different points on the track where they break, but there was just that little bit of a nudge up the rear, and Mr. Hamilton is struggling a little bit to catch back up to Stocky. I'm wondering whether he's just lost a little bit of an end plate. I'm not quite sure because I can't quite see it at the moment as it goes flying past the screen, but if he's lost a bit of end plate, he's going to be struggling. But he won't give up, that's for sure. I'll tell you what, I just want to point out something that we've...
Sorry, he's not missing any front wing that I can see. I'm having a good look at it, and yeah, I can't see any front wing missing for Stocky.
Not for Stocky, for Mr. Hamilton.
Oh, in that case, I'll have a look at Mr. Hamilton and I'll let you know.
Just point out that Mornay has retired his vehicle, which he is allowed to do, so if he does disconnect and rejoins, he is well within his rights to rejoin, to take control of his vehicle, to retire it. That is absolutely fine by us. Saves it going round while it's ghosted. So Mr. Hamilton then still following Stocky, and Stocky is going to be thinking back to the World Championship reserves.
Hamilton's off, he's off. That's a big sideways moment, and he's struggling to catch it. Is Temp Fear going to get him? No, he's got a big enough gap to Temp Fear that he's going to hold on to the position. I think Mr. Hamilton 44 may have just taken a bite out of his seat.
Yeah,
because that was a big moment.
So if he gets on the podium and we ask what colour his underwear are, he'll probably now say brown. Well, just a word of warning: if you are a Formula 1 driver, just wear brown underwear anyway, and then if you soil them, no one will know. Anyway,
yeah, okay.
Moving on.
So Steve, just to interrupt, Hammer Time 9.5, his teammate has led him through. I don't know if that is actually officially what happened, but Hammer Time 9.5 is ahead of Bartman, and just behind Bartman is Dan Evs. Jamie James has also made his final stop and is actually not that far behind Dan Evs, and I tell you what, he's having a battle with Coming to Get You. Coming to Get You has also made his final pit stop, got rid of the hard compound tyres, put another set of the medium compound tyres on, so he's trying to pressure Jamie James, but Jamie James is on the soft tyre, so he's going to be looking to go as quick as he can now. And I think, I mean, we're going to have a lot of position changes here, I think, in sort of not the top four.
I think Jamie James will be going, how come I've come out in 9th? I think he would have been expecting a few more cars a bit further away from him, but there's a lot of drivers doing very well so far at this event, and the top 10 are all within 40 seconds, so yeah, you make a pit stop, you lose a lot of positions.
Yeah, K-Slay, he's into the pits now, so he's about to lose a lot of positions because Hammer Time 9.5 has made his pit stop. Bartman has continued on, and Dan Evs is really gaining on him seriously quick. Dan Evs on the medium compound tyre. So yeah, I mean, K-Slay, I mean, he was in, I think, 5th, 6th place, and he's going to come out a long way back. Along 10th place for K-Slay, but the battle I think to keep an eye on really is going to be Dan Evs on Bartman, because they're actually side by side near enough. Dan Evs looking very feisty. I'll check in a moment if Dan is going to need to make another pit stop, but I think he's going to be going for a move as soon as physically possible. And considering that in the opening lap of the race, I mean, he ended up, was it dead last, facing the wrong way. Here we go, side by side into turn 9. Bartman has no choice but to give him the space, and Dan Evs gets ahead and even gets DRS just to add insult to injury. So Dan Evs now up into 6th place with Hammer Time 9.5 ahead of him on the same compound of tyre.
Just working out Dan Evs' strategy, I believe he doesn't need to pit again because he started on the medium compound, then did a stint on the soft compound, then he's back to the medium again, so that would be his 2 pit stops. So this would be his tyres taken to the end.
Okay, so for Dan then, it'll be a case of can he catch Hammer Time 9.5, and I think the answer might be yes, because he's not that far ahead. For Bartman, he's going to have to be careful because Jamie James is going to be catching him fairly damn quickly as well. But actually Bartman, with DRS, catching up to Dan Evs a little bit, but not enough, and this is where Dan really now needs to get a shift on the better tyres. On the fresher tyres, Bartman's struggling. He's struggling for a little bit of grip. I'll let you know when Jamie James catches up to him.
Well, I was just thinking about Jamie James there, because Jamie James, he's going to be putting pressure on Dan Evs, and Dan Evs looks like he's flying, but yet Jamie James is probably going about half a second to a second a lap quicker at the moment. But ahead of Dan Evs, we've got Hammer Time at 95, and then Temp Fear. They've got a bit of a gap between them. Mr. Hamilton running in 3rd place, and where is Stocky? Stocky's managed to create a bit of a gap, and it does make you wonder if that slide that we saw from Mr. Hamilton has just unsettled him a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised as well if it's caused some additional tyre wear. It definitely would have put some heat through those rear tyres. So it will take him a couple of laps to get back into the spin of things. But I'll tell you what, while while Stocky and Mr. Hamilton are a bit apart and they're not affecting each other's races as such, have a look to see what the last lap times were. See which driver's got that little bit more pace now they're both in free air.
Will do. Just to let you know though, coming to get you is very close to Jamie James, may be able to attack. Okay, was it Mr. Hamilton and Stocky's last laps you wanted?
Yes, as K-Slay has just set the fastest lap of the race with a 23.0. So yeah.
Okay, Stocky's last lap was a 124.1, and Mr. Hamilton 44 was a 123.8.
There you go, so he's going to be catching up. K-Slay's flying, and I'll tell you what, he's not just flying, he's catching up. Who is that?
His teammate is coming to get you, that he's catching up. Because on track we've got K-Slay running in 10th place. Just ahead of him is Coming to Get You, who is his reserve teammate in this race, and just ahead of Coming to Get You is Jamie James, and Jamie James is catching Bartman. He's almost within DRS range. He may actually be within DRS range. I'm going to see, is he? No, he's not, but Coming to Get You has got DRS on Jamie James. So Jamie James is getting into a situation now where when he catches Bartman, he's got to go. If he doesn't go past him, he's going to have 2 horses all over his horse, and he's going to be under pressure. So yeah, it's going to get tricky for him. How's Dan Evs getting on with catching Hammer Time 9.5? Not really happening much at the moment. So yeah, I think so in the region of Jamie James, where we may have to keep. Coming to Get You has got a fantastic run on him here. Was all right up his rear gearbox. Obviously they ain't got a front rear gearbox, but you know what I mean. Right up his gearbox around the final corner, side by side into turn 1, just ahead. And Jamie James could have done without that, I think, because now Coming to Get You may be able to slow him up a little bit. Jamie James on the dirty part of the track gets back onto the racing line. Is he going to be able to attack back? I'm not so sure. No, he's not. Oh, fantastic bit of racing this. We will touch on the question of the day again in a moment to see if we've got any more answers come in. But also, don't forget, folks, when it comes to the podium interviews, if you've got any questions that you want us to ask the podium sitting drivers, feel free to put them on the YouTube comments, and we will ask those drivers. But yeah, Jamie James, he's right up behind Coming to Get You now. And he'll know that K-Slay is gaining on him. I mean, K-Slay's not within reach at the moment, but he's coming quick. He's coming quick.
I'm just going to point out, we've got a situation here where everyone has got a car behind them that is catching them. So, pretty much, you are catching the car in front, but you are being caught by the car behind you. That is the situation that pretty much the whole grid is in at the minute.
apart from Bartman, who is being caught by everybody behind him, pretty much. Bartman is 7th place. He's got Coming to Get You behind him. I think Coming to Get You is going to have this move done. He's got a fantastic run on him. You can see the gap that he's created on Jamie James already. So here we go then, heading down into turn 1. Is Bartman going to defend it at all? It doesn't look like it. Coming to Get You up the inside then. Can he get it slowed down? Yes, he can. But they're side by side into 2 as well. All Coming to Get You nearly loses the rear of the car, but manages to get through. Bartman, he nearly loses his car. Here comes Jamie James taking full advantage of that little mistake. So he's up the inside into turn 4. Nice move there from Coming to Get You and Jamie James. Bartman definitely looks like he's struggling on these tyres as we're now into 4 laps to go. And I can see in the background there is K-Slay, who's catching up very quickly. And I think, I could be wrong, but I think Dan Evs maybe oh no, he was passing a ghosted car. I thought he was all over the back of Hammer Time 9.5, but he isn't yet, but he is gaining on him quite quickly. And let's not forget, Simo, he's out leading this race. He's on a different stratosphere at the moment. He's absolutely cruising up at the front. Just to let you know, the gap between himself and Stocky in 2nd place is 4.5 seconds. Gap between 2nd and 3rd is only 2.5 seconds. So Mr. Hamilton 44 is closing that gap back in. We may have a fight on for the 2nd step of the podium. 10th here, there's a bit of a gap down to him now in 4th place, but obviously he lost a lot of time in that battle with Jamie James. And Hammer Time 9.5, what a drive from the back of the grid. Oh, I'll tell you what, I think I saw something in the background. Jamie James has got past Bartman as we saw, but Bartman's coming back at him with DRS. Jamie James going defensive, is he? He looked to, then changed his mind. Here's Bartman up the inside. Can he get it slowed down on the hardest compound tyre? He does, just gets ahead of Jamie James, so his tyres are knackered, but they're still giving him the opportunity to attack a little bit. That frustrate any driver, that would. And here comes K-Slay. Oh, he's all over the back of this one now. What are you going to do, Kendall? Are you going to get involved in this fight? Are you going to try and drive past it, or what? We'll soon find out.
Well, I'll tell you what, Kendall's not one to shy away from an overtake, and I think I can see what's going to happen here.
Jamie James is up the inside of Bartman into turn 7 and 8. And he's ahead of Bartman, but now Bartman goes for a bit of a switchback, where here comes K-Slay, heading up to turn 9, nearly 3 wide. Are they going to make contact? No, they're not. They file back into line. Jamie James ahead. Bartman, K-Slay with DRS. Bartman having a look up the inside of the hairpin. Can't quite get it done. He nudges the back of Jamie James. K-Slay nudges the back of Bartman, and they all hold station for the moment. I think K-Slay's going to be feisty to try and get back into this one.
Yeah, I don't think Kendall can just sit back and hope they take each other out, because he needs to get past these two and try and progress even further, as we've only got 4 laps to go, or this lap plus 3. So
we've not even got 4 laps. It's 3 laps to
3
go.
laps.
This and 2 more.
Wow. And are we going to see an overtake down into turn 1 by K-Slay? We've got Jamie James and Bartman, and K-Slay can't quite do it on this lap. But this is like the ultimate race of compounds here. You've got the soft tyres against the hard tyres. Or I should say that there's a compound in between them, and K-Slay's gone for the overtake. There's contact. K-Slay's into the wall. His wheels off. His race is over. K-Slay is out. K-Slay's race is done. That was an unfortunate situation there for K-Slay. DP, if you are able to see, and re-comment
on YouTube. Going to see the replay of it. So K-Slay going up the inside. Oh, it looked like Bartman may have just moved across, put K-Slay into the barrier. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. I'm not going to say it was Bartman's fault. I'm just saying what I thought I saw on the screen. But I tell you what, we now need to focus on is Mr. Hamilton 44 is within DRS range of Stocky. So 2 laps to go. The one they're on and 1 more, and Mr. Hamilton 44 has been able to close up that gap within DRS range. So you may want to put the camera on them. I'll have a look elsewhere, see if anything is kicking off. We may have Dan Evs catch Hammer Time 9.5. That'll be close. Coming to Get You though, he's already caught up to the back of Dan Evs. Oh dear, this is going to get interesting with a lap and a half to go.
Yeah, with Mr. Hamilton trying to push put pressure on Stocky with 1.5 laps to go. We could end up with focusing on this and missing about 10 different overtakes behind them. But if DP, if you see anything, just say so. But Mr. Hamilton, yeah, he's just getting closer and closer each corner. Obviously, there's the effect as they go slower, they do appear closer, but obviously the time difference and distance can stay the same sometimes. But turn Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse to go until they are on the last corner of the penultimate lap. And Mr. Hamilton, I don't think he's going to be quite close enough this lap to make a move, but he's going to have his DRS open. He's going to get even closer. Do you know what? He might be close enough. And something we've not mentioned about is fuel. Who's got fuel left for this last lap? Has anybody been running rich too much? And I really need to apologise to Simo for not commentating on his race. Nothing against you, but you've just driven off into the distance and we've not been able to see you, pretty much.
Yeah, I'll let you know when he's getting close towards the end of the lap. I'll tell you what, coming to get you though, he's getting really close to Dan Evs. I think he's going to go for the move. Have a look at coming to get you on Dan Evs. I think that will happen, and then I'll let you know when Simo is getting close to the end of the race.
Yeah, coming to get you has got his DRS open. Dan Evs has gone slightly defensive, but not defensive enough. Coming to get you has gone for the inside, but Dan shuts the door on him quite fairly there, nice and strong from Dan. And coming to get you is having to follow him for the time being. I think Jamie James has conceded and he's going to basically not try and attack the cars ahead. I don't think he's got the tyre life left in those. So
okay, Simo is into the final sector. He's got about 4 corners to go. But I've got to say, for an Adlin's pick rookie driver, I mean, he's been showing what he can do in the World Championship and the World Series Reserve races. This guy looks like he could be the real deal as he comes around the final corner here in Spain. He's going to take a victory in the Front Row Racing World Championship. Round 5 at Spain. Simo 911 takes the victory, and Stocky is in second place, but I know that Mr. Hamilton is right behind him. Unfortunately, I've not been able to go on board to really check. So sorry about that one, folks, but I think it was Stocky in second and
yep, it was
Mr. Hamilton in third, and Tem Fear, he's approaching now in 4th place into the final few corners.
Yeah, he's just crossed the line there, and then we've got Hammer Time 95 that's in 5th position.
Unfortunately for Hammer Time though, he is going to, obviously he's got a 30-second rollover penalty. Coming to get you, did get ahead of Dan Evs. I'm not sure if you did catch that or not.
No.
Dan Evs' car seems to be ghosted, but yeah, coming to get you, did get ahead, so he's in at 6th place. And then I think it may have been Jamie James, you know. I'm not sure if Dan Evs may have ran out of fuel, but there's still a couple of battles going on out there. GT5 King's got a car ahead of him, but I think that may have been a lap down. But what a race there. I mean, there was something happening on every single lap, and there has been a couple of comments on YouTube saying question of the day. We will get to it. It's just that the question of the day falls to the back of the commentary box when you've got everything happening that we had on track there.
Yeah, I mean, what an amazing race, amazing overtakes, some spectacular incidents with cars running wide and keeping the throttle on to drift it around the turn 3. But DP, if you're able to read through the final standings, because I've got real drivers' names.
I will in a moment. I just need to make sure that I get a couple of screenshots of these. Also, before we do the podium interviews, I would like to just go through the rest of the drivers' pre-race comments so that we've got all those through. So Simo takes the victory. This is all provisional, remember. The official result will be posted soon on Facebook. Simo takes the victory. Stocky 2nd place. Mr. Hamilton 44 in 3rd. Tem Fear 4th. Hammer Time in 5th, but he has got a time penalty to be added on. Coming to get you was 6th. Jamie James 6th. Dan Evs 8th. Sorry, Jamie James 7th. Dan Evs in 8th. Bartman in 9th. GT5 King in 10th. F1 Roadrunner 11th. Obadiah King 12th. Tinahan 13th. Adam 4600 14th. K-Slay was the first or the last of the DNFs. But what a race. I mean, there'll be some happy drivers. There'll be some very unhappy drivers from that one. I think that's for sure.
Yeah, and for saying we were one commentator short this evening, I don't think we did too bad there. I don't think James would have got a chance to say anything.
Well, he wouldn't have had a chance to say anything because I was talking so much. But yeah, I mean, in all honesty though, it is so much better having the 3rd commentator. Okay, drivers' pre-race comments that we don't do before the qualifying session begins, so no one can take an advantage of it. I will try and fire through a few of them now. Let's see, Jamie James mentioned about his. Obadiah King, he said he'll be bringing the harder set of tyres to the event, as so far he's felt he's had the pace to be on the podium in every race, so he hopes he can finally stay out of trouble and get a long overdue good result. Unfortunately, that hasn't worked out here in Spain. 10th Fear, we know he's had a very, very tough start to the season, and I'm not surprised he's made the comments he has. He said he's going to be bringing the balanced or maybe even the harder compound tyres because he does think he has the pace to be on the podium and even win like he could have done the other races. But just like the other races, it depends on if he gets killed on lap 1 or not. He didn't, so he done all right. And then he's gone on to say, as for DP, he can't say he had a worse start last season as he won a race out of the first 4 and only won race which was his own fault for having a bad start. You've reminded me that I did win the race there, but anyway, 10th Fear back on to stable ground really when it comes to the results this time out. Although he won't be pleased that he couldn't get a victory, he will be pleased that he didn't get killed. Okay, Hammer Time 9.5, he had a very fantastic race personally, I think, and he did say that his aim for this race is just to finish. He said, I'm sure I won't get any points. He'll be bringing the hard compound tyres and doing a one-stop, and that's exactly what he did, and he wants to avoid silly incidents. He also did that. GT5 King, he said he should have the pace for the top 10. He did, he finished 10th. He said he's found a decent setup and also found that being in the right gear in the right time is crucial for this track. Well, he's made it work for him. Mornay 77, I tell you what, I feel for that guy. He was having one of his best races in his front row racing career. He said, yeah, some rain is always welcome here when asked about if it rains. He said, especially when he looks back at China where the strategy worked out perfectly. He said if it does rain, he'll be bringing hard compound tyres. Sorry, it doesn't rain, he'll be bringing 1 set of hard compound tyres, 2 sets of mediums and some softs. He'll try and do a one-stopper and start on the medium and finish on the hard tyre, hoping with that strategy in a clean race with no contacts or issues, I'll be able to finish top 8. Well, you know what? He was on target for a top 5 until unfortunately he was disconnected. K-Slay, he said his pace isn't great around here. He's not had a lot of time to dial in a good setup, and that he also doesn't aim to beat anyone, just tries to finish as high as possible. For unfortunately, he finished quite high up a wall on this occasion. Coming to get you in reserving for RMS Maranello, he said, as you're aware, I'm driving the Haas in this week in place of RMS. I'll be hoping to bring in the hard compound tyres to Spain, which I believe he did, and he felt that his pace here is strong in quality in the race, and he was hoping for a clean first corner, and I will be throwing everything I've got to grab the win this time out. I think an unfortunate incident cost him a much better result than he was on for having there. And that's it for the pre-race comments. So it's about time that I invited the podium sitters in for the podium interview. So that's Simo, Stocky,
yep,
and Mr. Hamilton 44.
While you're doing that, I'll try my best to go through question of the day for anyone that wanted to know what that was. I'm also going to add a little bit onto it as well. Question of the day. Who was the Formula 1 driver that had the shortest career in Formula 1? So what was the name of the driver that had the shortest career in Formula 1? But not only that, I want to know as well if anyone would like to have a guess at what their what was the shortest time in Formula 1. Yeah. So
what was the length of the shortest career in Formula 1?
What was the length of the shortest career in Formula 1? Yeah. So Mr. Hamilton 44 has joined the party, and we shall come to you in a moment. Simo 911 or 911 or 911. Has joined the party, so we are waiting on Stocky unless he's joined without me noticing. I don't think he did. He hasn't, not yet. No. While we're waiting for Stocky, I think we'll crack on with Simo's questions. So if there are any podium questions, if there are anybody watching on YouTube that would like to ask the drivers podium questions, just post them on there and we'll try and get around to them. Simo, relieved that you were ahead of Stocky for this event, whereas in the World Championship Reserves you were stuck behind him. Bit easier for you today?
Yeah, the race was good. I think I had the pace to win. I didn't have to push all the race.
I've got a question for you. I'm going to cut in on Steve now. He doesn't know I'm going to do this. Did you change anything to do with your setup or your driving style from last week's World Championship Reserve race when you were stuck behind Stocky in preparation for this race today? So did you learn anything in that race that you changed and did for this race?
Yeah, I'll lower my wings 2 clicks. So if I'm gonna stuck behind someone, I can still pass.
And it worked. It really worked.
Yeah. I mean, not only did it work, once you'd got ahead, you just ran away. Basically, the race was yours there. Great strategy as well. Obviously, it was short notice for you for this event today. Having obviously raced last week, you must have been a little bit prepared, but I suppose it's more emotionally, not emotional, what's the correct word here I'm looking for? Physically and mentally ready to race at short notice. When I say short notice, we did ask another driver to be the admin to pick Rookie, who unfortunately was unavailable, so Simo was able to step in. So yeah, mentally and physically, how was it at short notice for you?
It wasn't any problem because I had 2 races last week, so I was quite ready.
Yeah, so what I want to just say then at that point is, if anybody in the World Championship needs a reserve driver and they look anywhere other than Simo 911 at the moment, you need your head looking at, because this guy's done amazingly well to just come in and do that at short notice. Well done, Simo. Dave, any questions for Simo?
Yeah, there is, from Hammer Time 95. I'm going to say exactly how he put it. Simo, I was very impressed with your qualifying time. How did you do it? Was it down to setup, or do you like the track?
That was a bit of surprise because I think I've improved my time about 6/10 all in the moment, so I didn't know where that come from.
Well, I'm sure you'll find out soon enough when after the World Championship grid check out your qualifying lap, because I can guarantee you they will. Because I know I'd be sat there going, okay, I want to have a look at how we did it. Not to sort of go, he must have cut somewhere, but a case of if someone puts in a lap time that other people are struggling to get, people tend to have a look at it. And that's all part and parcel of it. But let's see, I think that was the only question for Simo that I've seen at the moment. But I mean, another fantastic display by Simo there, for definite. I'll tell you what, Simo, you mentioned recently that obviously the World Championship is where you want to end up. So if you were offered a permanent seat, how quick would you take it?
Not very.
As soon as possible.
Okay, be ready on Facebook tomorrow then. No, I'm joking. But yeah, I mean,
you never know what can happen. You never know what can happen though. I mean, someone could drop out, someone may not be able to race, someone might want you as a reserve. Anything can happen. And that's why we have the World Championship and the World Series reserves, to give guys like Simo that opportunity to show what they can do, and then have the opportunity to race against the World Championship or the World Series guys. And then if permanent seats become available, they've shown what they're capable of doing, and it is the teams themselves that would get to choose who reserves for them or who takes a permanent place in their team. But I'd say very well done, Simo. Don't run away just yet, because we've still got question of the day and see if any other questions come through. So Steve, I reckon it's time to grill Stocky, isn't it?
It is, but just before I do that, I just want to point out, because some people say, well, no one's going to vacate their seat, are they? What's happened in the last couple of weeks in the World Series? 2 drivers have vacated their seats.
About Dan Evs.
No. Yeah. In the World Series, I've lost my teammate because of his work commitments, and then there's another driver that's had to that stopped because of family commitments. So spaces do become.
Join them. That's all right, mate.
Yeah. So Stocky, second place.
Yeah. Yeah.
Obviously, you want Stocky in the World Series. Well, you want Simo in the World Series.
That's not true.
No, but what you may not know is, when we spoke to Simo on the podium last week, if he was offered a World Series drive, he would turn it down because he wants to focus on the World Championship. So tough luck, Stocky.
No assist one.
But what's it like though, Stocky, to have another driver on the grid that can battle you there for the victories?
I think there's a number of them that can battle me for the victories, but for Seaman to turn up and do that, I didn't expect that at all.
Even after last week, and when you were able to get into the reserves race.
I expected him to be close, but I didn't expect the qualifying lap, nor just the pace at the start of the race. I couldn't really keep up.
Yeah,
To be
so
honest, I couldn't keep up.
in a way, then you've got to be grateful that he's not been in a permanent seat sooner, bagging some of these points for himself rather than just the teams or the admins, because he would be a bit of a problem, wouldn't he, in the championship?
Yeah, but that's all right. The more people fighting for it, the better it gets, isn't it?
I've got a question for you, Stocky, and it's pretty much the same question I asked Simo. Did you change anything, setup-wise, driving-wise, from the World Championship Reserve race last week to this race today? And if you didn't, do you now wish you did?
I did change some stuff actually. I added a little bit more rear wing. And added some more toe. Only a minor bit though. Only like one click, but.
So did that help you or hinder you?
In hindsight, the drive last week, in comparison to the drive this week, I would say it hindered me.
Yeah,
Because obviously I was slower.
Yeah, and if people want to watch that drive from last week, it is available on YouTube. World Championship Reserves round 5 in Spain. It is available, and it is a great battle from Simo and Stocky throughout the whole race. So yeah, great. Watch that one if anybody wants to watch it. So
Wasn't feeling it.
yeah, I was going to say, Stocky, was there any point in the race where you thought, I'm not going to win this?
I knew it would be difficult to get back in the slipstream after starting 5th and having to get past who was it? Jamie James, him. I had to get past him, and then I saw the pace was similar, but I was always making silly mistakes and having to do the occasional lift, and then them mistakes built up to the gap that it was at the end. But I think lap by lap it was fairly equal.
So in the World Championship Reserves you weren't doing your lifts?
In the World Championship Reserve, I didn't make any mistakes.
Okay, we'll believe you on that one.
I've got a couple of questions for Stocky quickly. Stocky, was it simple to qualify on the mediums?
Simple, yeah.
Oh, there's one here. This is a real gut-wrenching question. Who do you like more, Temp or Hammer?
For the sake of the repercussions that will happen in my friend group, I'm going to say I like them both equally. I'm good friends with them both.
Well done. That's it for questions for Stocky.
Okay, well done, Stocky, on provisional second
quickly,
place.
Who asked that? Is it Dean?
Probably Dan Evs.
I'll kill him. Right, thanks. Cheers.
Right.
Well, there is one more question. This is from someone else. This is from Ivor Celia. Sorry if I said that wrong. Stocky, after this race, what are your expectations from Monaco?
Stay out the wall.
Simple as that. Okay, I think it's time to move on to Mr. Hamilton 44 then. Interesting, tricky. I'd be interested to know if he's happy or frustrated with that one.
Is it me now?
It is.
It is you, yes.
Are you happy or frustrated?
A little bit of both. I was a bit frustrated because I was fighting with Black throughout the race. So I couldn't really put some pressure on Stocky. I just had to keep behind him to avoid any collision. And then I was quite happy when I managed to keep the car out of the wall. With 7 laps to go, I had a scary moment out of turn 2. I had a massive oversteer.
We saw it. It's on the live stream. It was massive, great big drift around turn 3. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're an arse, you are.
Why?
Yeah. We see everything that nobody wants us to really see, but yeah, I'll tell you what, it was.
Want us to see.
Yeah, I'll tell you what though, Mads, what you did there though, yes, you had a mistake and you had massive oversteer, but how you corrected it, and then was to be able to regather your thoughts and focus, and then catch back up to Stocky. That is very well done, and to be able to do that before your event started. Well, I say before your event started. Compared to what your thoughts were before you started, are you happy with 3rd place or disappointed with 3rd?
A bit disappointed. I thought I could win this race. I didn't see Simo, the pace he had. I didn't see that coming. And as I said, I had a bit of lag, so I couldn't really fight Stocky.
Yeah, we did notice a little bit of lag. Not necessarily just from your car. There's a few cars that were lagging a little bit today, but we did notice occasionally your car was contacting the back of another one, or somebody was contacting the back of yours. But
it was a lot off the start.
Yeah, in the beginning it was insane.
Mm. It's interesting, and I'm going to mention this anyway because you've recently, I say recently, in the last month or so, or a couple of months, upgraded your internet. And before you upgraded it, we never experienced any lag issues from you. And now it's been upgraded. Occasionally, we get a bit of lag from you, and I'm just wondering if there's something that's not quite set up correctly.
No, it's the same as before, just better.
Yeah. I just don't know why. Though.
Maybe it's because we have more players in the lobby. Maybe
that is possible.
Yeah, it could be.
Maybe Dave's just got rubbish internet. Maybe it's something to do with that.
Yeah, we'll blame DP.
Blame front row Dave. Always works.
Well done, Dave. Well done.
I mean, in all honesty, we've got Dan Evs commenting on the YouTube comments now saying, why don't the admins just restart the race when there's lag? Well, I'll answer that question now. It's as simple as this. Restarts don't happen unless they are absolutely 100% necessary. And by that I mean mass disconnection, right? Because when it comes to lag, it can be down to potentially the host, but it can also, even more so, be down to the driver's own internet connections. And if people have got any spiking issues or anything like that with their own internet connections, restarting the lobby is not going to do a lot. And also, let's say, for example, somebody gets collected in an incident on the first race, you restart it, and their race goes fine, but somebody else gets taken out and they're then DNF'd. You've then got that person saying, hang on a minute, why shouldn't we restart? Because I've been DNF'd, you restarted for them, why not start for us? So it works like this. There ain't no restarts, right? Unless it is sort of pure mass full-on disconnection or problems with the broadcast or the broadcaster not being able to get back into the lobby. It may seem a little bit harsh, but to be honest, from a broadcaster or an admin point of view, it's not that easy to sit there and go, oh yeah, we should restart this race. Because in the history of when there have been situations where people have gone, oh, you should have restarted that, when you look into it, there's a lot of occasions where the answer is no, the right thing was not to restart it. So there's so many things to factor in when it comes to a restart. It's not just a case of, oh, someone's got a bit of lag, yeah, let's do a restart. So anyway, I'll let you carry on.
Why don't we restart?
Because it was you, Mads, so shut up.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Do we have any questions on YouTube for Mads?
Yes, there is a couple. Mr. Hamilton 44, looking back at the race, do you regret not trying to make a move at the end of the start-finish straight at the start of lap 33?
No. Because I couldn't really judge how far behind I was from Stocky. So it would be too much of a risk. And potentially taking both of us out.
Yeah, you're better off. What you're saying is better off to finish third than not finish at all.
Yeah,
but then again,
ruin Stocky's race as
well. Why not? It can't get any worse. It can't get any worse.
Yeah, it's pretty intense.
No, to be fair.
Another question for him. Do you think you will perform better at Monaco?
Depends on the amount of practice I'm able to put in. But Monaco, I like the track. It's a huge challenge. So I should separate the good drivers from, the better drivers. So the aim is obviously the win.
Okay, well, Monaco is going to be an interesting one to get to. Now, in a moment, we're going to have to finish off with the question of the day, but I just want to mention one last thing. Dan Evs has said again, FRR must investigate these lag issues because having your race ruined down to a lag is completely, and then he swears. And my response to that is, every driver has the ability to place an incident report after a race. So instead of sitting there and moaning and whining and crying, do what drivers are allowed to do, place your incident reports, then they get investigated, then reference can be made to the fact that every single driver was asked to send in their internet speed test to see if there was anything that was potentially a problem there, and it can be seen if it's potential one-offs for a person, for a driver, or if there's a continuous problem. So if people have got a problem with lag, don't sit there bitching and moaning, do what you should,
Oi.
place an incident report, and then it can get looked at properly.
Rant over.
Yeah, rant over. It just frustrates me that people sit there
Use
moaning
the
and
B
complaining.
word.
But I didn't call anybody a B word though, did I? I said stop bitching and moaning. There's a difference. Okay, on to question of the day. As I've asked it once and Steve's asked it a couple of times. Question of the day, we'll give it to the podium drivers as well, so your opportunity now to have your guesses. Name the driver that had the shortest ever F1 racing career, and if you can, have a guess at how long his career was.
Oh,
I'll tell you what, let's go to the
Can I
race,
answer?
race winner first. Let's go to Simo. Yeah.
Must be Stefan Saracen. One race.
Oh, it's a good guess.
Brazil 99.
It could be right. We'll find out in a moment. Stocky?
is someone who raced with Jordan, I think, was it? Marco Apicella? Did one race in '93 at Monza.
Interesting guess. We'll find out in a moment if that's right or not. Miss Hamilton 44, over to yourself.
I'll say the same as Stocky. Because I just checked on Wikipedia.
Yeah, see, that's cheating. That is pure and simple
Prove it!
cheating. well, Steve, there is
Mr.
at least
Hamilton, what are you
one.
doing, man?
There was one viewer on
Did you get bonus
YouTube.
points for getting it right?
No, there was one viewer on YouTube that did get it right, but they could also have googled it.
was
Shame
it,
on you
Dean?
if you did.
Was it
no,
Dean?
I think it was W. Butler. He may have actually known it, but there you go,
Okay.
Steve. I'll let you give
If Dean
what the
ever gets
answer
one
was.
right, you know he's cheated because he's well, he's not the brightest of light bulbs.
Okay, so the answer was the name that Stocky said, I believe.
Yes!
But you got the circuit wrong.
Did I?
Yes, it was Suzuka and his F1.
Well, it depends.
God damn it!
Why does it depend? Well, you got it right because you said I'll say the same.
A driver only did a pre-season test and didn't even start a race.
That's not classed as an
F1
official.
racing well, I actually asked the question, F1 racing career.
Yep.
Yeah, but he did race in a Formula 1 car.
In a race or in a pre-season test?
Just pre-season test.
That's not a race.
That's not a race.
So anyway, his race lasted
Prove it.
his race lasted all of 800 meters to turn 1, and it was in the Jordan. Yeah.
I'll tell you what though, Steve, you just gave the wrong answer for the track though, because it wasn't Monza.
No, it was Suzuka.
Yep.
No,
No.
he did
Italy.
800 metres of the race in Italy in 1993. Even you can't get the answer right. Oh,
Well,
I don't
what?
know.
I'll
And
tell
it
you
was
what.
your question.
800 meters at Monza. That.
It's about Curva Grande. And that's
No, it's not. It's turn. Because I'm sure I read something about turn 1 Suzuka. But then again,
Driver.
probably a different
on
driver.
ask.com.
No. Look
Will
at
Butler
F1.
says he knew it.
There you
And
go.
he also says that it was Monza. So yeah, confirmed it was Monza.
And
See,
it was
you gotta
799
trust-
meters.
Yeah, you've got to trust the Guinness Book of Records. Anyway, okay, podium drivers, I'll tell you what, if you've got any questions for each other, feel free to ask them now.
I have a question for the admins.
Yeah.
Why 1 week is the lobby a normal multiplayer lobby where everyone can have all their helmets and stuff, and then the next week it's a championship lobby?
Because in the World Championship and the World Series reserves, there's a number of different drivers that come in and go out and all that kind of stuff, and it's just so much easier to have it as a stock standard lobby. All right? for the World Championship and the World Series, having it like this, it does kind of make it easier, but we refresh it every now and again, because if drivers make changes to their helmet designs or anything like that, it doesn't get updated unless we do a fresh new lobby. So every couple of races...
Yeah, but we can't get them anyway when you use the championship mode.
Yes, you can.
Well, you have to go into a lobby before, don't you? But I don't...
No,
We're advised
right, okay.
not to do that.
Not for changing your helmet.
True.
Today we couldn't.
In this lobby now, right, you should have been able to use whatever helmet you used in the previous race. It's fixed from the previous event. Right?
But I
This is what-
restarted the game.
it shouldn't really matter that much. But like I say, if anyone that does want to change their helmets or anything like that, they can change their helmets and make design changes, but it won't apply to the car, which is why we've created a new lobby before the last race, and we'll create a new lobby for the next race. So when the drivers get the invites in, they'll be able to make sure that their helmets are on. Well, the reason we use this particular format for the World Championship and the World Series is because if there is problems with the broadcast or anything like that, or mass disconnections at the start of the race, we can at least do a restart and have all the drivers in the correct position without having to mess around for a lap or two getting people into position. But that's why it's used for this. It's not used for the reserve races, because from this side of the table it's just much easier to use.
Alright, okay.
And it stops randoms from joining, so there's a lot
True.
in that way for it. But there we go. Okay.
Are we done, or has anyone else got any questions to ask each other or us? I think that's it then.
I'm good.
You're a girl, did you say?
No!
He said he's good. He said he's good. Right,
my hair is getting
okay,
bad.
just to finish off then, I know
getting
the
old,
stocky
Steve.
asked in private a week or two ago, a couple of weeks ago, about the Christmas schedule. Information about that will be posted on Facebook probably this weekend, so keep an eye out for that one. Next up on the Front Row Racing YouTube channel will be tomorrow night for the Front Row Racing World Series Round 5. That's the Assist Allowed League, which is also at Spain. That should potentially be another interesting race, although I'm sure all of us viewers will be hoping for a little bit of rain to add an extra bit of spice into that one. But yeah, I mean, this World Championship Round 5 has been one hell of a race, and obviously the result is only provisional, but it won't be long until it is finalised.
Okay, so thank you very much there, DP, and I'm going to bring the broadcast to a close and say thank you very much to our viewers for watching. Thank you very much to the drivers, and thank you very much to the commentary team of me and DP this evening. With all of the pleasantries done, we're going to bring it to a close. Thank you very much for watching, and we shall see you all again tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Cheers, guys.